Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Dan's Auto Diagnostics and Repair. Today we have a 2005 Ford Econoline 350 Super Duty. Customer complaint is someone hooked a scan tool up to it and said it had a misfire code. So they wanted me to check that out and see what's going on. So let's get a scan tool hooked up to it and see what we got. Let's get after it. Alright, there we go. Got a very, let's see if I can get that glare out of there. Not many modules in this one. That's how I like it. Should be done pretty quickly here. Let's see if I can get it up here without too much glare. Got codes and everything. Let's go to PCM here. We got P0171 System 2 Lean Bank 1 and P1000 Onboard Diagnostic System Readiness Test Incomplete. Let's get into it. Let's go check for some misfires. Let's go to special functions. Do a power balance test. Cylinder 5, 6. Let's give her a little gas here. Let's clear it because it's a mess. C6 just went out. Nothing consistent. Well, now it's starting to get consistent here. Well, let's go do a visual inspection. Alright, we got 274,460 miles on this. I don't see a check engine light. Well, let's go check under the hood. Well, seeing as it's a van, not going to be a lot that we can see from here. We're going to have to go inside, take the doghouse off. Nothing's jumping out. Can't really even see anything. We're going to have to go inside here and take the doghouse off. That's an operation. But I'm not looking forward to doing that. It's 18 degrees here, so let me go figure something out. All right, we got the doghouse off. We can see in there now. And right there are the coils. You can see my finger. I'm touching it. Kind of hard to see back in there, but right there, that's the coil. And they're all down that line, and on this side, same gig. So I got to get in there, and I'm just going to pull them all off and do a spark plug. I'm going to replace all the spark plugs first. Obviously, I'm going to take them out, check them out, see how they look, check the boots on the coils, and go from there. Before I go and check that stuff under there, I'm gonna see what's going on with the voltage here. I turn the vehicle to key on, engine off. I see no voltage here, and that's low. Well, here's low. I can't hear it at all. Well, just barely. A little more, little more, little more. Resistors might be okay. Not sure, but very curious about this battery voltage. Fire it up, it doesn't move. So I'm going to look into that as well. Before I do anything else, I'm going to do a quick battery check here. I got the cables hooked up. I'm going to juice her up here. That seems fair. In the good. Alright, probably going to have to check some connections as well. Alright, under the hood, just behind the battery here, is our blower motor. And then down in there, it's our blower motor resistor. So we're going to have to take this battery out to gain access and then do our checks. Okay, it's a few days later. It was 18 degrees outside, really cold. So I called up the customer and I asked him when they need the vehicle. And he said he didn't need it for another week or so, so I had a little time to work on it. Today it's about 35 degrees, supposed to get up to like 47 or 50 degrees today, so I'm working on it today. First thing I want to address is the heater blower. Now remember, turning this on, this is all the way high. Put it on vent, and it's very low. So I pulled up the schematic diagram. Here's our blower motor. Here's our constant power side. Here's our ground side that feeds through the resistors. And we're just going to go a direct ground here. We're going to check to make sure that we got good powers and grounds. Feed this thing direct and see if we get a better blower motor response here. See if it's higher, and then go from there. Alright, I got the battery out. Now I'm going to get to this connector right here. A little tight. Come on, baby. Get off there. Alright, there it is. Connector looks okay. Looks okay in there. So I'm going to get me some leads, run direct power in here, and see if we get more airflow. So diagram says the orange with the black stripe is the ground, and then the hot is the orange and red. So I just got a lead like this, putting that right on the ground. The other one's on positive. My battery's down here. Go ahead and hook up the ground. She's running. See if really don't sound any better. Doesn't feel any better. I'm going to see if we got a cabin filter in there and check to see if that's clogged or whatever. So I was looking for a cabin filter, couldn't find one inside. Then I started looking out here, because some do have it, like in the Dodge Chargers, they'll have it up here in the cowl. But I was looking down in here, see if I can get my light. You see that big old gap? I don't know if you can see it. All right, I decided to take these two bolts out here to get this out of my way, because I have no room in there. So moving that aside gives me at least a little more room. So that's what I'm working on now. All right, with that out of the way, you can see a little better of what I'm talking about. So at the tip of where my light is, that's that surface that I'm going to put this gasket on. You can see that big old opening. And we're losing a lot of air out of there. So I'm going to seal it up. Alright, I got that shoved in there. You can see that's sealed, and I had to reach way in the back to to seal all that back there. Very difficult. But I got the bore scope so I could see around there. So she's all sealed up all the way around. Turn it back on here. Stick my hand way back in there. I'm not feeling any more air loss. So we got airflow there. You can feel it a lot better up here. I'm going to hook the battery up so I can go through the selections. I guess this explains why we don't have a cabin air filter. Yeah, not equipped. So we put a gasket on the blower motor, sealed that up. Now there's no more air loss. I hooked the blower motor up directly to power, so it should have had the maximum amount of power, so it's like it's on high. I still didn't get a lot of good airflow. I stuck a bore scope in the ducts, AC ducts there, and I didn't see any other airflow loss anywhere. Blend door was working, and I just can't get a good amount of air in there. So next step, I'm going to take out the blower motor, check the fins on it and everything, see what it looks like. It may be a weak blower motor, but for now I'm going to adjust the cylinder 6 dropout, and we'll go from there. I don't know if it's better to go through the back or the front. Let's see, that's number 6 back in there. Kind of difficult. I got the doghouse back off on this one, and you can barely see it. It's difficult no matter what you do. I think I'll try to tackle it from the front. Yeah, I think it's better from the front. All right, here's our connector. Take that coil off. Alright, that's loose. So the bolt for that coil is a 10. Of course, missing. The struggle's real. Alright, I got the bolt loose. Now, before I take this boot out, I'm just going to stick the air gun in there and blow out all the debris. Alright, let's see. There she is. Oh, look at that. Clamp broke. Great. Alright, we'll inspect this one a little further and see what's up. Blow that hole out again. Well, there's the bolt. There's the other piece. It must have just snapped in there. It's got that little metal insert. May have just been bound up and cracked it. Alright, let's get the plug out. Well, I got the bore scope out just to take a little gander down in there at the spark plug. As I went down, seen that little guy right there. Gonna have to try to get that out before I take the plug out, or that'll drop in the cylinder. Wouldn't be good. Now I pulled the plug out, and look at how big that gap is. The center of it's all burned up. So the specs on the gap are 52 to 56 thousandths. Here's 98. Goes in there just fine. That's a problem. Bring you out here to get a better look at that center electrode. just burned away, nothing left. So I was feeling this coil here, and look at that crack. Yeah, that's not good. That's gonna go eventually. That's gonna need a new coil. Let's see what he wants to do. If he says, ah, it still works, run it, then I'll run it. But preventative maintenance would be good. He probably needs all new coils, all new plugs. That would be best here. But we'll start with new plugs. I'm going to call him up, see what he wants to do about that, and who knows, maybe he'll authorize the new coils. We'll see. All right, called the customer up. He's going all the way with this one, and we're going to get all OEM parts. All the coils are going to be replaced, all the spark plugs. I'm about to take out this blower motor and look at that, and if it needs a new blower motor, he said get it done. So that's our next move, and then we're going to order some parts, and when they come in, we'll finish. I found this quite interesting. Figured I'd show you that. I took the battery back out to get the blower motor out and inspect it. Here's a large negative battery cable. So somebody has replaced it with a smaller cable and hooked it onto the chassis there. Just it couldn't reach, and it was like, okay, we'll just give it a new one. Nice. All right, we got out all the bolts. Just a little bolt here, back there, and a couple down there. Let's get her off here. Oh, of course, the accumulator is going to be in the way. Oh boy. Oh man. How is that supposed to come out? Oh, great. No, I guess I got to figure that out now. So we got the blower motor out, and we're going to test it. We got the battery hooked up down here. Jumpers to negative and positive. And we got a lead on which is the positive, and then I got the negative here. That's blowing pretty good. So I don't see any problem with this blower, which means that we probably got a door not opening inside, probably a vacuum actuated door. So we're gonna go and check that. Down here is a vacuum actuator. And when the motor runs, when this is actuated, here's the, let's see, let me take this vacuum line off. There's the vacuum line that actuates that door. Now I didn't check to see if that was working or not. And now that I got the plug out and the coil off, I can't see if it's working. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my vacuum gauge and see if that works. So I'm gonna hook up a vacuum line. You probably can't see anything. I can barely see myself. But so I've hooked up a vacuum line to that vacuum actuator, and I'm just gonna go ahead and give it some vacuum. And that door should open. Yeah, you see it? I'll release vacuum, it closes. More vacuum, and that's right where the blower motor is. And if that's, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if that was opening or not, but even if it was, it looks like there's a piece missing here. Piece should go in here because it just blow all that air right here right here at the feet. So I'm gonna figure out what's going on there. All right, just got the new parts in. All the spark plugs here. Couldn't go get OEM unless I waited a long time or drove a great distance. Autolite, not a big fan. NGK, I mean, they're alright, but it's not OEM and I don't like doing that. But save some time here, get this thing out of here quick. I'm going with it. So let's get them installed. Now if you remember, our plug gap was 52 to 56. This is 59. Slips under there nice and easy. So bad start already. I'm going to have to gap all of these. Alright, I'm going to gap them all to 54. I got my anti-seize ready, and down there is my dielectric grease. And I'm just going to put the anti-seize on the threads here, the dielectric grease on the head here, and on the boots of the coil. I'll show you that when I open them up. But I don't think I'll bore you with the installation. So here's the new coils. And here's my process. I get some dielectric grease. And I just put it in there like so. And then on the plugs, a little anti-sneeze, just a little bit like that. You can see that. Just put it on the threads there, and then once I put them in, it'll get it all the way around. No need for a lot. So that's it. Then I'll install them, torque them to spec, be good to go. Look at that, cylinder 5. That was the next one. See if we can get a better shot there. Huge gap, electro wasted. Probably all gonna be like that. This definitely needed to be done. Here's the difference between a new one and a burnt up one. See that center electrode sticks out a little bit from the porcelain? This one, that's not sticking out at all. Alright folks, down to the last one. That's the last coil. And as you can imagine, these were a bear to get to. You see deep in there. I had to move this for that cylinder back in there. You can see how that bracket is in the way, so I had to take that connector off. Just getting in there, absolute bear. And that's the last one right in there. And heck, I can't even get a good look at where it should be because it's just so darn tight. And probably a good thing I didn't film that, because there was a lot of cussing involved. You didn't want to see that. But one more to go, and then we can address this blower issue. So of course, the head of this one rounded right off, and I had to break out this set. Use the smallest one there to get it out. So that's fun. The last one is definitely the worst. Alright, there's all the coils in. You see that coil back there? I had to take that hose off. Comes off the back of the manifold. I had to take that off to get it out of my way. There's the real doozy one behind that conglomeration of crap. Connector's back on, hose is back on. All new plugs and coils. So let's get the front back together. Just got to put on the air intake ducts and then fire this thing up and do a power balance test again and see if number 6 is still acting up, which I doubt it. I don't even know how this van ran with all those spark plugs the way they were. So let's do a power balance test. All right, it came up, special functions, power balance test. Let's put it over here, get you out of that glare. Oh, yeah, that's better. All right, I'm gonna put it in gear. Reverse, let's clear it. Not bad. Drive. Clear it. Give it a little gas. Back in the park. That's way better. Number 6 hasn't dropped out. That's number 6. Clear it. Give some throttle. Ooh, 6 took a dip there. That was our trouble cylinder. We're dipping a bit. Alright, so our next test is going to be a fuel injector balance test. We're going to go through and make sure all the fuel injectors are doing its job. So, we'll see under the hood. Well, I didn't see a test port on this van. And I don't have the proper adapters to do fuel pressure test on it. But I got another customer here. A Camaro. It's my cousin. What's up, buddy? What year is this thing?
This is a 2015.
2015.
5th gen.
And what's happening? The key's sticking in it?
Well, it didn't stick just now, but yes, when I turn it off, it doesn't.
Well, that's for another video. Well, I was gonna take this thing for a drive, but there's absolutely nothing on that dipstick. Looks like we have more to do. Just to give you a look at all these plugs, every single one was basically the same. Electrode burnt completely off there. Crazy. Oh, another thing I wanted to show you is we got all different kinds of different ranges of burn here. Some are black. This one seems to be about the cleanest one. All smoked. That's a nice black one. Yeah. That's the cleanest one, yeah. Well, there you have it. Alright, I still got to go get the oil and do the oil change. But for now I'm going to address this low air issue here. I don't think this blower motor is bad, but I did find another problem. Here is the vacuum line that goes into the actuators for the air system in there. There's your vacuum actuators. This one here is for the vents in the front. So when you change it to vent, this actuator will go in, and a little door inside the ducts there will direct the airflow towards here. This one is your let's see, that's the defroster up in here, and there's another one down in here, which is your fresh air actuator. And I found a leak, so I took out, let's see, let me go in the shop here, the mud hole. I got this piece here. I'll show you in a minute. Alright, this piece here that I took out, it went onto here, down into an accumulator, and that's leaking. So I got some vacuum line, and I got a new accumulator, and of course I'm going to relocate it under the dash, because to do it right you'd have to get way back in there. You'd have to take this whole AC system out, get behind the firewall, and replace this. But I'm going to reroute that vacuum line down here. I'm going to take this panel off here. I'm going to set that accumulator somewhere behind this panel. And there's also a check valve on there. So this then goes to the vacuum of the motor. Then there's this check valve. This end here goes to the accumulator. And this end here goes to your actuators inside. So I got to fix that leak, put in the actuator, and then I'll test the system again. Alright, that's what's behind there. I think maybe I'll tuck that up under there, somewhere like that. There's a nice hole here. Maybe I can attach it to something under there, but that's where it'll go. Somewhere nice and tucked in under there. Oh, and there's two vacuum lines that come down underneath here. Sorry about this zoom. I was hitting it, but we're down by the footboard here. There's two vacuum lines. One's white, one's black. The white one goes to this actuator back in here. This black one is what feeds up into here. And then there's this block here. You see the black hose that feeds that block, and then your controls here feed which actuator it goes to. So once I get that actuator in there, the check valve, and hook it all up, we'll fire this motor up and do another test. If I don't feel any airflow, and I confirmed that all the blower doors are working, mixing door and all the vent doors, then I'm going to go ahead and scope the blower motor and make sure all the poles are there. So we'll throw a scope on that, and if that's fine, then it is what it is. There's nothing else I can do. You're just going to get what you got. But I want to verify with the scope that this blower motor is in good health, or verify that it's in bad health, and get a new one, and go from there. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. I've already connected this vacuum line that I bought to the intake side there. I shoved it down into the fender inside there, and I'm going to catch it in here. See if we can see it in there. See the vacuum line? Right there. I'm going to try to snake in and get it with this handy dandy tool. You press the button here and this little claw comes out. So, see if I can do that. Get my light on here. Stick that in there. And there it is. Got it. There's our vacuum line. Alright, now that I got that out, I'm going to go in through, see this little rubber grommet right there on the side. That goes in back there, if you can see it. Right there, there's a hole in the kick panel, and that's how I'll bring it through the body here. First I got to get the grommet out. Sorry about the zoom. I'm going to get the grommet out with this. There it is. Uh-oh. Oh no. Dropped it in the door. Now I gotta see where that went. Alright, I gotta fish that out. Had to break out Mr. Borescope again, but it fell in a very convenient spot where I could get it. There it is. It just fell right here in this little flap. You see that flap? I just pulled it back and pulled it right out. So that was real nice and easy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole just big enough to get this vacuum line through, and then hook all this up. Now this hole is going to be just a touch smaller than the vacuum line, so we get a nice fit. You can see it kind of, let's see, where are we at here? You can see it kind of closes up on its own. So let's go test fit that. Alright, I gotta get the long nose in there. Just kind of twist it in there. Can you see that? So it's poking out there. Just gonna pull it through so it's a nice tight fit. I'm gonna pull the vacuum line through. Let me see if I'm in your way here. Try to give you a better shot. So now I'm just gonna pull it through that hole. Into the back of the panel here. Get it right up in here. Okay, so here's what we're doing. I just pulled it through the panel there, and I'm pulling this out from under the hood. Give me some slack. So you get the point. Okay, we got our vacuum line from the motor. This is coming from the engine. It's going to go into the check valve right here. The black line goes to the vacuum controls, and this line will go to our vacuum actuator, or accumulator, I'm sorry, the accumulator. And then I'll stuff that up in there. One more look at the setup before I install it. This is coming from the engine. This check valve allows vacuum to be pulled back here. So vacuum would be pulled through here, but not back this way. So if you're going down the highway and you step on the throttle, vacuum pressure will go down in your manifold and you'll lose the AC system will divert to the defrost, and you'll feel like you're losing the air coming out of the vents if this has a leak or is defective. So that's what happens typically on these vans. So there you go, check valve, engine side, actuator side, and then of course the accumulator. All right, we got our motor running. We got it off. We're going to switch it to vent. We're going to watch this actuator. That works. Now we're going to go to defrost, see if this works. That works. Okay. And then let's see down here. That door, I'm going to go trigger it while you're there. Yeah. That door opens. It closed. All right, everything's working. I believe there is one more door inside that I can't see. Well, obviously there is. It's a blend door. I want to make sure the blend door is working. For that, I'm going to get the bore scope, stick it in the duct here. I believe I can see it from there. And then we'll see if that's working. No, I forgot to show you where I got everything hooked up. All right, that one's down there. There was a bolt right there up in the top. It's attached in the back. And I just got the vacuum line routed in the back there. I'll hang these up. I'll zip tie them up in here out of the way. And you know the rest. As usual, starting to rain on me. Yep. She's coming down, so gotta load up. All right, we got our scope. We're scoping in there. Right now we're on vent. And we got our blend door here. So I'm just gonna turn it to cold. You can see that blend door works. Cold, hot. Cold, hot. Now I'm gonna stop. I'm just gonna go halfway into the hot. See how it moves just a little bit? I'm gonna move it a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. I'm just moving it a little at a time. Okay, full throttle left, full throttle right. So that door's working. So let me pull it out. Let me get to the other door. All right, there's the vent door. Put the vents on. Opens up. Closed. Vent on. Vent off. So we know that door's working. Now another way to check to see if your vacuum accumulator is working or not, or if you got a vacuum leak. When you shut the vehicle off, just let it set for a second. Okay, we got it on off right now. We're going to go to vent. Vent off. I'm going to go to defrost. Off. Vent again. See how that's still working? Because that accumulator is still holding all that vacuum. So it'll work a few times and then of course all the vacuum will be expended, but the system's good. Oh, and it's also a good sign that your check valve is working, because if that's not working, there'll be a problem there. Okay, now to fix this mess. Looks like somebody took the body ground, connected there, and just left it out. They took the main ground off and just left the body ground and used that to start the motor and run everything, and just left that off. That's not good. I'm going to fix that. Well, that's in there really good, so I'm gonna have to call that one good. Definitely better than what he had. At least you got this thick cable now, and then this going to the body. You're getting a lot of contact there, so I'm happy with that. All right, on to scoping the blower motor. I peeled the insulation back a little bit so we can get an amp clamp on there. Here's this pico scope. Just a little two channel. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and put an amp clamp on it. We're gonna see what the waveform we get and see if we got any of the poles dropping out. If not, I'm gonna call it good. Blower's good, everything's working. Customer told me that he could have swore that he felt more airflow, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, the setup is here. Now, let me set it up. All right, we got the scope running. We got the amp clamp going. Zeroed out. Get the blower fan going. There we go. All these poles look the same. I don't see any change in them. So let's stop it. I'll go shut it off. We got our capture. Let's see, that's really blown up, huh? I get my tripod's over there. I'm holding it now, so this is kind of a two-handed deal. So we just get that back down to normal size. But what we're looking at is these humps, and they're all the same. Nothing drops out, nothing comes down. Everything looks good. So I'd say that blower motor's fine. So we're going to put the battery back in right. As you can see, I have the cables on it and the battery's down there because it'd be in the way of getting a good amp clamp on there. So we're going to pack it all up, ship it. Yeah, I know, but it's a vacuum tank. How bad can it be? But I would never get an electrical component from Dorman. Just know that. Alright, we're looking at the oxygen sensors here. You can see we're on closed loop. This is bank 1, sensor 1. Bank 1, sensor 1. We're switching. Bank 1, sensor 2. And we're switching just like 1, so looks like we don't even have a, this would indicate that we don't even have a catalytic converter at all, or at least a real bad one all open. That's bank 2 sensor 1, it's switching. bank 2 sensor 2 looks about normal. So what I don't like is that bank 1 sensor 2 looks like we got some kind of catalytic converter problem. You can see the voltage is 14.5 there, but the battery voltage here, don't know what's up with that. Turn it off. I turned it off, shot up. Key accessory on, all the way down, fired up, no movement. Doesn't seem to be working. But everything's working. I cleared the codes on the instrument cluster and got our voltage back. Interesting. Ignition key in. You see here, ignition key in and out, says out. I'm gonna wiggle it a little bit. Yeah, we got some trouble. Alright, we got a code for the left front wheel speed sensor, so we pulled up the sensors, we're gonna graph them. I'm gonna take it for a little rip. And as you can see, our left front wheel speed sensor is not working. I already went down there and checked it out, make sure everything was plugged in right. No loose connections in that, everything looked good. But as you can see, we're getting no response from it. So that's bad. Of course, if he does want me to check, to do further diagnostics, we'll go ahead and we'll check the sensor itself. We won't just assume that it's a bad sensor by looking at scan tool data. We'll go down there and we'll ohm it out and scope it if we have to, whatever. But customer will have to authorize the time. Okay, folks, I talked to the customer. He didn't authorize fixing the wheel speed sensor and checking into the catalytic converter and all that. Says speedometer works. Let's run it. So let's recap what we did here. Customer complaint was misfire and low airflow. So we pulled, we did a power balance test. We seen that cylinder 6 was losing compression or whatever. It was misfiring. And so we pulled the plug, found that it was way out of spec. The gap was like 90 plus thousandths. The center electrodes just burned clean off or clean down, whatever. And so we decided to change all the plugs. We found that a few coils were cracked, the connectors were cracked, and that wasn't looking good. So we replaced all of those. Ran our power balance test, and everything ran pretty good. The complaint for the AC airflow and heat, we checked the blower motor. Everything seemed to be fine. We made sure no passages were blocked in the ducting system. All the blower doors opened, the blend door, the defrost, the vents, the floor, all the actuators worked. We did find a vacuum leak at the vacuum accumulator, which is behind the firewall, very hard to get to. You'd have to take out the whole system to replace it. So we bought a new one, replaced all the vacuum lines, relocated it underneath the dash, replumbed everything, did our vacuum test again. Everything's all good, no leaks, everything works. We took the bore scope into the ducts. We seen that the blend doors were working, so that's that. And we're going to be done with this one. And the customer has a pressure washing company, so he wants a better pump back there, a deep cycle battery hookup, and he wants me to run some wires from the battery. But that's oh, and fix the side door. The side door doesn't open at all. So I can see it's a little foggy here. I wonder what the deal is here. Oh wow, that's All right, finally got the camera fixed up. It's been a day, had to let it set for a while, and as you can see, I'm already on to the next project. That'll be for the next video, so stay tuned for that. Ring the bell so you can get notified of the next video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you, the subscribers. Helps me out a lot, and we're gonna grow this channel big. I got plenty of plans going on, so thanks again for watching. See you on the next one.